Hello and welcome back to another video on the RetextCraft channel. In today's video, it's the strategy of Prism Break. But before we start, I'm going to have a person who made their own video have a clip in this video. Like, right now. Anyway, thank you, winner. I'm recording this before it's done because I have to make this before that's done. Anyway, yeah. So, the strategy of Prism Break. Prism Break is a very complex calendar. It takes a lot of work to get used to him. And when you finally do, he destroys everything in his path. Let's start with his paths, I guess. You're of course going to want to choose the top one because it gives you two abilities that upgrades and makes your other two abilities good. See, a lot of things that beginners get to fall into is picking the bottom path. Yes, you're getting Series 2, getting the bottom path, and having the Soul Gem will make your beam so overpowered it's unbelievably crazy, but the trade-off in damage is not worth it. I mean, the trade-off in utility isn't worth it, because you've lost two moves that could be really good with the rest of your moveset. So, of course, you're going to want to choose the top path. I thought that's kind of obvious. So now let's go into more specific strategies. Prism Break is a Skylander for groups of enemies. His Soul Gem destroys weak enemies, turning them into gems, and then he can refract more beams. So if you have a group of Chompies, shoot at them, and you make enough beams to destroy any other enemy around them. That's a very basic strategy. It gets a little bit more complex if you choose bottom path with the 3 beam, but no, it doesn't really. But that's not where Prism Break's utility is the most. In the first 2 games, you can't hit things on top of you on a cliff. That's where Prism Break comes in handy. Drop some gems from the sky, they're dead. It's come in handy a lot more than it sounds like. Then you have some other strategies. His third move is definitely good if you have a bunch of enemies beside you that you need to push out so you can use your beam. I'm going to take a brief part to say this is not a retrospective video, but from now on I will be including this more in-depth part about the 3DS games. Let's talk about 3DS Prism Break for a second. 3DS Prism Break gets rid of the problems people have with Prism Break. The problems that don't actually exist. That's besides the point. People say that his turn radius is bad when he has his beam up, which is completely fixed. In fact, it's so good you can do a full circle. I know, so impressive. But they also made it so the other complaint, beams being shot, will disappear after a few seconds, which I thought was a balance thing, made for balance, but in the 3DS games, it doesn't even exist. You can beam the whole time and it will demolish your enemies. The last complaint is his speed, and while his walking speed is low like literally everything else, he can run, and that is the fix for his final one. You can also double jump, like the 3DS games you can double jump. Just want to get that out. It's really interesting. You can double jump in the 3DS games, and you can't jump in the console games. Anyway, back to the main video. Now back to the main part. Prism Break has a ton of utilities. He might be difficult to get the hang of, but he's really good. I would suggest you playing him all the time. So, Prism Break, his third ability, when combined with his beam and his smash, are really good. You beam your enemies. If they get a little too close, you use your smash like a round attack. Then you smash them with your attack from above. Then you beam, and they should be dead. If they have more health, then then use your Pulse Wave, which is the attack that Series 2 has. It makes him a ton more damage dealing. He didn't have a problem with that, but now he's like a god. There's also Series 3. His strategy is drop a bunch of crystals and then beam them, and then drop more crystals and beam them. Hopefully the beams will hit them, and the crystal shards might hit the enemies. It's a lot less fun than the. You can still play the normal strategy, but this is definitely a strategy made for Prism Break Series 3. Okay. Now onto the number one meme, for some reason. The meme started back when my channel was first created. There was this certain clip that was in my video that Boombringer took and put into his own video. People, they, of course, had me in for the give him credit. So it became a huge meme in his community and my community. It really did help my channel out, and so eventually he made his live streams, and so one of the characters was Prism Break, number 1, the meme. And so, of course, I had to watch all of them. I didn't make it on time for most of them, but when I did, it was a great time. Eventually, they had number 2. Number 2 is Prism Break on his other path. That's about it. But it was pretty cool. He put number 1 as the moderators in his Discord, and it just became a community thing. Like, did you see in mod? There was tons of number 1 parts. So there's even a channel called Number 1, which I accidentally falsely accused of wrongdoings. I'm trying to make up for it, but yeah, oops. And so the popularity of Prism Break is at an all-time high. Because we of course all know he's the most biased on this list. This part of the video is where I talk about the Ring of Heroes. But he doesn't have a Ring of Heroes, which I don't know if it's for the good or for the bad. But yeah, nothing here. Back to regular strategies. The most definitive Skylanders, in my opinion, is Prism Break. And that's all because of one attack, Pulse Wave, or whatever it's called. It's his Series 2 Wow Pow. And in Giants, it does 101 damage, which is a lot in Giants. Yes, sure, it was nerfed in Swap Force, but in Giants, my favorite game, it is unstoppable. in nightmare mode, you would plow through everything. I would usually make it through 3/4 of a level before dying. In nightmare mode, of course. And then I'd mess up and die, but that's besides the point. All you need to do is press the B button when you have your A button beam attack there. Then you shoot a pulse through your beam, and when it hits your enemy, it does a ton of damage. You can also go through the beams, the refracting columns, and it will pulse out, eventually getting less damage, but it will hit more and more. Okay, now finally, we have the announcement. In a couple of days, I will be, not in a couple of days, but eventually, I will have my Series 4 Prism Break created, and I'll show it here. That's kind of what this is. It's an advertisement, but it's really not. It's just me sharing. I'm gonna have a Series 4. It's gonna be a Series 2, but it's gonna have a red bottom, and it's gonna have a new pose, and I call it Series 4. I'm gonna give it out to a couple of YouTubers, and I'll let them review the build quality. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Shout out to the winner, which is still unknown. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.